Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Behind the Counter podcast presented by Insane Games on this January 23rd, our third podcast. We have the nerd, we have the gamer, we have the boss broadcasting from the Insane Games in the Queensbury, New York. And down south, we got the kid broadcasting from the Insane Games in the Countryside Mall, Clearwater, Florida. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Can you hear it loud and clear? A lot of saltiness going around here today. A lot.
We'll get to that, though.
A lot of saltiness going on. You ready?
All right, go on, loser.
You ready? We all ready to go?
Of course we are.
Voter, run it.
Welcome to episode 3 of Behind the Counter, presented by Insane Games, the wettest video game store in the whole world.
And we're back to indeed the wettest podcast broadcasting these days.
Splash.
Again, we are live from both our locations and live on Facebook Live right now. We got a lot to talk about today, fellas. We got a busy show. We got some WWE going on. We got some, of course, NFL going on. Some video game talk as usual.
Don't bury the big ticket we have tonight.
And also we have Samuel Chase, the president of the Saratoga Comic Con, coming on a little bit to discuss that and some WWE with us. And we got a big show, jam-packed. What we all do this week? What's going on?
Still playing Overwatch. That's what's happening
Still.
with the Overwatch League.
Still.
Still. Me and my friends are playing a lot of competitive, trying to match up with all these Overwatch League teams. Shout out to Pine. He's filthy.
Tyler, what are you working on down there?
I just finished Wolfenstein 2 today.
God!
It was pretty wet. I'm thinking about going backwards and playing the New Order next. Haven't decided. But the ending was pretty cool. I would highly recommend Wolfenstein 2.
There's 3 of them, right?
It was
How many
a
are in the
lot of
series?
fun.
3 Wolfensteins?
What?
How many in the series? 2?
Right now there's 2.
They have, on PS4, they have Wolfenstein 2, New Order, and then they have Old Blood. You can get Old Blood and New Order in a jumbo pack on PS4, I know. You might be able to get it on Xbox One.
You can.
But I'm definitely going to try and go back and play those games for sure, just to get a better grasp of the storyline, because they tell you what happened in the last game, but I think it would be cooler if I went back and played the actual full game. But it was really good. I highly recommend it. A lot of fun, fast-paced shooter, kind of like Doom. But that's pretty much all I've been doing besides going back to school and wanting to shoot myself there.
Whoa. Sounds like fun.
Sounds like school.
Dave, you're still going on at the play?
I've had my day job and then rehearsals. I would like to give you a little taste of, if you come to see Inspecting Carol at Homemade Theater,
Yes.
of the perfection you could get. Could I get a dramatic close-up, Butter? No.
No, Dave, no.
All right, then you'll just imagine you're getting a close-up here of my Academy Award acknowledgement acting.
Wouldn't it be Tony's for stage?
It would be a Tony, but I'm that good. No. Lots of that, year-round.
All right, I'm bored.
Oh.
I was going to give him 5 more seconds and then just take a cane and pull him off screen.
That, and much more, and actually enunciated and said with some feeling at Homemade Theater. If I could get the poster just to pop up if I send it to you after this.
Maybe.
Or a link in the
Can
description.
we also get the balls to pop up?
No.
Hey, we broke the ball reader last week. We got to take it easy.
Let's start a new one.
week off.
Let's start a new one.
Hey, we broke it.
Nerd count.
We need an updated model.
Nerd.
Other than that,
No, I think we'll probably come and watch that show.
it's a good comedy. It's a lot of fun.
I'm not flying up to see that.
We'll Skype you in. It'll be good.
No Skype in the theater, sir. Oh, come on.
Anything else going on in the Dave life?
Oh,
A lot of pinball.
I mean, yes, actually, there
Still?
was. I recently beat my my high score on Black Knight 2000.
Nobody cares.
Everybody
Hey.
cares.
I'm listening.
People care. Mike cares.
Dave, it's
He
a lot of
knows his skill.
pinball. It's a lot of pinball. I'm not going to
Pinball's
lie.
good for the soul.
Aren't they all the same,
Sometimes.
like Mike said?
A lot of pinball.
And you know what? For another episode, and for those of you at home on Facebook Live now, we will play some pinball, and they will see the wetness that
The only
is.
time I'm going to play pinball is if I take a hammer from the back and smash it.
Take it easy.
I mean, if you buy the table, I'll fix it.
That's gonna be our next smashing video. Me buying a table for Dave, and he's gonna play it. I'm just gonna smash it when he's playing it.
That'd be super cool.
That's a little yikes.
That's
I'll just throw Dan through the table like Batista does.
Whoa. Batista?
oh god. Dan, what about you? What have you been up to this week?
Short week. Had to fly all the way down to Florida. Got to check out the Clearwater store for a little bit for a mere 3 hours to have to drive all the way back. So that took up a majority of the week. Not much, just chilling out here. Not playing any games, didn't play any games this week.
Lame.
Lame.
Lame and soft.
No, not too bad. It was a quiet weekend. Got back, started working today. But I will say this. A Dan rant for a minute. Okay? I don't know what customers think when they come in. But when they come in and they try to badmouth other stores in front of us, anticipating that we're going to come back and say something else about another store back to them, it just doesn't work that way, guys. We don't argue or talk bad about another store in front of you, so you can go back and talk bad to the other store what we said. We all know all the stores. We all know all the stores around here. He knows all the stores down there. We all know what stores that we compete with, don't compete with. And I don't know. I had a customer in here today. I'm not going to say what store they're talking about, but was trying to get me, egging me on to talk about another store to them. And it's just not going to happen. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys get people that come in? I mean, people come in. I mean, sometimes. I mean, we're very. It's not professional to talk bad about another store, and we just don't do it. I mean, do you get people down there that do that a lot?
Yeah, I mainly get people that talk about GameStop and whatnot, and I'm just like, well, I mean, what do you expect? They're a corporation.
Right.
I always defend the employees at GameStop. I'm like, well, it's not their fault. I mean, they're just doing what they're told. I mean, can't really get mad at them. But I mean, yeah, I don't really talk much about other companies, and so.
You hear that, TJ Maxx? We're not talking bad about you, no matter how many people come in and tell us to talk bad about you. All right?
TJ Maxx has a lot of great deals.
They do have a lot of good stuff. But to be fair, Tyler brought up a good point. The people at GameStop don't get a break because it's really not them. They're one of those people. They're the people that in front of the computer. It tells them what they can give and what they can't give, and that's the way it goes. It doesn't matter if the customer wants more, less. I do think a lot of people, they criticize the GameStop employees, and it's not all what it's. Yeah, they probably had those signs attached to their.
It makes you wonder when customers come and they're doing trade-ins with us, and I'm holding up a sign going.
Actually, Dave, I had someone today come in and say, "What's up with the 3 and 11 from the podcast?"
Yes.
I go, "Oh, you mean when Dan went 3 and 11 in our fantasy league?" And he goes, "Yeah, I love that. That segment where we just make fun of Dan all the time when he goes 3 and 11 is great. I love it."
And you know what?
If you're watching
Out
at
of
home,
all
you
the
know what
things
I'm talking about.
Dave started, that's the only one that people seem to remember. It was a 3 and
It's
11.
great because the boss goes 3 and 11 in fantasy, and he is by far probably the worst fantasy owner there
But
is.
what I don't hear is, oh, Dan,
that's
you're a 2-time champion. You're 2-time.
Yeah, but here's the
1-2.
thing. All you say is 2 times, but you can't, like, on those off seasons, you finish dead last. Like, it's not even like you finished second. It's not even like you finished third or fourth.
What do you mean?
You finished dead last.
Last year I finished third.
You won't win the championship. It doesn't matter.
Third. So I finished 10th, 3rd, 1st, 7th, 1st, and then
That's
the
not true.
first year I finished last.
And then last. No, you might as well finish. Yeah. So honestly, I mean, if you put in a spreadsheet, you kind of finish in pretty bad.
What place did you finish last year?
It doesn't matter. I
Yeah, it
finished
does.
first this
You
year.
got 10th place. What I got
It
this
doesn't
year.
matter because I finished number 1.
And I finished first last season. So it's the way it goes. Either you have a miss or you have a hit.
First last season.
What?
You didn't finish first. You didn't
Or
finish
the
first
year
last
before
season.
that.
Okay, that was 2 years ago.
I'm either
Now you finished it
I'm
first
either
11,
in
and you're
it to
the mayor.
win or I'm
And you're
gonna
the
lose
mayor
it. It just
of
doesn't
all-
matter.
You lose it
Right,
bad.
Mike?
You went
The
0 and
mayor-
Wilson. That's the one thing I look
Oh,
forward
Mike.
to every week was
The
posting a new
mayor
Owen
of
Wilson
Owen,
joke.
Tennessee.
Cool. Cool. Are we done talking about my fantasy league? Or my fantasy team?
This is awful.
I didn't finish
It's like Mortal
last.
Kombat.
You finished last in the regular season, though.
We won't get into the Mortal Kombat because
Again-
you're already mad enough today, so we won't go over
So-
the Mortal Kombat.
What we have to wonder is, again, when customers come in and you and I are dealing with the customer, do you think they think that we're bald, or do they just think, well, maybe there's a boss somewhere with a simple name like Dan or Bob or Eiler that make the rules and force them to say things like, well, we don't take peanut butter sandwiches as trade-in. Or,
I will say, though,
I would
Dave,
take a peanut butter jelly.
speaking of bald, you got hammered last week with the bald reader. It was bad. It was.
that
If you ever bring that game name up again, I cannot tell you what's going to come down from the bald reader and everybody.
See, if he's just forecasting what you're supposed to see in your future, because he gets the ball counter broken every day.
Well, you're really shooting out cannons today, aren't you? You're really taking shots.
This angle does not help you at all, Dan. It's just like, holy crap.
Were you looking down?
I could throw a missile up in the air from Florida and hit you right on your forehead.
Cool. Cool. All right, so this week we got a few games coming out. So we're going to do a stud or a dud. Little conversation
segment.
here. We have a couple new games, something that we probably will do weekly moving forward as we start to come out of the December holiday shopping when some of the games now start to come out. I think we have a lot of them coming out in February and March. Obviously, the peak of the season is not till August, September, October. But this week we got a few of them coming out. What do we got this week? We got Dragon Ball Z Fighter Z.
Ooh.
Dragon Ball Z. What is it? Dragon Ball Fighter Z? Or is it Dragon Ball Z Fighter Z? But we got Dragon Ball Fighter Z coming out. So now I'm not a Dragon Ball Z fan. Maybe someone else. What do you think? That's gonna be a stud or a dud?
well,
Let's go around the table.
all right, I would like to start for once. I think
Hey, there you
that
go.
game is going to be excellent because it promises to do the thing that every Dragon Ball Z game does. It lets me load in, take Goku to the highest Saiyan level that exists on the anime at that point, and then turn Yamcha into a puddle on the ground. And that's really all I want it for. And it's worth the $60 to do that. Also, to beat up Krillin with Frieza. Gotta remember where you came from. Everybody remembers going on Saturday and going to their friends and be like, my God, can you believe they killed Krillin? Again?
He's very bald. so got what he deserves.
He's very. But I like the idea of it. I like the mechanics. I like the upgraded graphics. I like the tag system because it works in Marvel vs. Capcom and all the Versus games. It works in Tekken Tag, and I guarantee you it will work in the Dragon Ball Z universe and the way that the characters interact and the way that they fight. I love that the graphics for the characters look like the anime enough that when you're playing on the television screens, just like when we have the NFL, EA NFL games on the screens, you can fool a couple people and make them think you're watching something that they've never seen before. Because, like, I didn't know the two of those characters fought. I mean, no customer has ever said that out loud, but they've looked. And they've looked long enough that I can assign that emotion and thought to them.
Mike, what do you think? Dud or stud?
I think it's going to be a stud. It looks really good. It's like Marvel vs. Capcom, almost a little too close to it, but I like all the characters from Dragon Ball, being able to switch between them and use Perfect Cell and Kid Boo.
Tyler,
Fat
stud?
Boo. Fat Boo is my boy. And I look forward to destroying Tyler in that game when it comes out.
Whoa. Shots fired from down here.
Mike, I was hoping we could tag up and beat up some other little kids playing the game, but if it's gonna be like that, you're gonna have to catch these hands, boy.
Yikes.
I'm going with studs though. I think it's gonna be a good game, just like Mike and Dave said. I like the aspect that it looks just like Marvel vs. Capcom. Should be fun. Who are you guys? Mike, who are you playing with? Who's your main?
Fat Boo.
What about you, Dave?
I'm not gonna lie.
It's because Mike looks just like Fat
Have you seen what happens at the buffets in this area? Have you seen what happens in the buffets in this area when Mike walks in? They're like, no. You're buying 2 plates or you get out. Mike's like, no.
Mike would be the one where the chocolate fountain going, all the chocolate coming down.
He goes into Golden Corral and does that.
3rd-degree burns all over his face. Worth it.
From my standpoint, I would say, from a business standpoint, because I've never played any of them, I would say it's going to be a dud. I don't think it's going to keep up with the other ones. I don't think it's going to do sales-wise like the other ones. I just feel like I don't know. It could be. I feel like that's a game that would do well with people buying it online. Those type of games, I feel like they're more people buy them online and they come actually in a store and buy them. But from a business standpoint, I don't think it's going to be good.
When you think about it, this is another fighting game coming out because the fighting games that came out in the last 2 years, which is a rotation of where people actively play them, was a PlayStation exclusive that, to be honest, I'm not all that jazzed about.
Are you talking about Xenoverse?
No, I'm talking about Street Fighter.
Okay, Street Fighter 5.
You know, that all the content was locked and it came out, it didn't have a, arcade mode or any of that stuff. And then Tekken came out. I love it. I hit the sticks on that all the time. But people don't play it. It's a good game, but it's not igniting people. It's not getting them into it. They're not playing it. There's not tournaments everywhere for it. I think Dragon Ball Xenoverse, if there's going to be a fighting game people are going to get behind from the main arcs, I think this might be the one.
Tekken has a very loyal fan base, though. Small, few, but they have a very loyal fan base. I find that when you like Tekken, like Mike likes Tekken, I feel like the small group continues to come back. And the fighting games, I think each fighting game has their own group of followers that all... I like Tekken, but I hate Dragon Ball Z. I like Tekken, but I hate Mortal Kombat. I think they have their certain, but maybe Mortal Kombat's one that I think maybe a lot of people from all the different ones all like, because it is kind of different than all the other ones.
It also caught the best possible headlines. People like to hear about the worst of something. Right. Oh, it's the most graphic game ever, and this and that and the other. So, of course, I want to at least play it once to find out what they're talking about. Right. And then you find out.
I'm hoping me and Mike can tag up. I'll be Krillin, because I look kind of like him. If I just shave my head, I'd be Krillin. I'm like 5 foot tall, and Mike could be Fat Boo, and we can just tag team dudes all day.
I got the team name. Bald is beautiful.
I think it's 3 people, though. We're going to have to get someone else in there.
Ooh, and I'll be Yamcha. And so when I get knocked out, because I'm useless in fighting games anyway, you can be like, oh, Yamcha. I'll always start. It'll be great.
And then we also got coming out this week, Monster Hunter World. That's coming out for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. What do you think of that one?
Nerd.
Dave, what do you think? From the sounds of it, you sound pretty excited.
God, I love the Monster Hunter franchise.
How long has it been since they've had one come out?
There was 1, 2.
They came out with one on 3DS.
3DS had one, but
it was also with the Wii U.
But for console base, it's been a while, right?
Wii U.
Oh, okay.
In 2000.
No, I'm like Xbox, PlayStation.
No. Oh yeah, no. There hasn't been one.
I mean, this Monster Hunter World is only coming out for PlayStation 4.
Are you saying that Wii U is not a console band?
I said that.
No, I mean, hardcore gaming, maybe not so. I mean, let's be serious. We hold Xbox One and PlayStation 4 to one standard, and Wii U down here. Okay,
so
I mean, let's.
PS4 and Xbox One. You can't see Xbox One because it's out of my camera, but PS4 is Oh, come on, guys. I love that system.
It's okay. They're being so mean to you.
You wouldn't grab that yet. There was one right in front
What
of you.
is that?
Dave, right here.
Oh.
Oh, well,
We don't like Wii U, but we have one right on our counter.
It's okay.
Do we all want to have a tablet in our hand? Mike, you want a Wii U? Here, take it.
Touch it. I know you.
This is what happens to Wii U's in my store.
Whoa.
They get smashed.
I thought I packaged that pretty well, but I maybe.
I'm just kidding. Dan doesn't know how to ship products
Extreme-
now, so now I have to.
Extreme content warning.
I'm very triggered right now.
I think this is not a rated R program. But Dave, what do you think?
I am very excited for Monster Hunter World. I think it'll go very well, especially with the success of the MMOs so far in their different facets on the Xbox and the PS4. I think, especially with the success of, and not to compare the two games, hear me out before I finish. The success of Dark Souls on the consoles will only help Monster Hunter because that is not a game that you jump into and immediately are just winning at left and right. You're gonna lose bad, and you're gonna lose often, but when you beat that giant ass bird thing that's going and like pooping all over your party,
It's on.
it's gonna be so worth it. In fact, I will throw out the open party invitation. I will be getting a copy, and if you have a copy, my gamer tag is on here. Add me. We will have days where I will be playing, and you can jump in and then play with the employees of Insane Games. All right? I'm going to open that up. I'll probably throw it on stream. If you want to come and actually be better than I am.
Mike, what do you think?
Dave, is that coming out on Xbox One too, or just PS4?
Both. It's both.
Oh, nice. That's good.
You're going to throw in a PlayStation 4 jab, weren't you?
No, I was.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you were.
I'm trying to.
Mike.
I'm trying to educate the.
You're waiting for it to be PlayStation only.
Oh, I have an Xbox One. I have a PS4. I can get it.
Mike, what do you think? Stud?
I think
dud?
it's going to be a stud. I watched a lot of videos about it. There's like a lot of different fighting styles. I saw this one dude with a sword and shield, and he combined it and made like this huge axe. And then he killed a couple dinosaurs with it, so it was pretty absurd. A lot of customization. The graphics are good. I hate clipping in games, and like his cape was going through the sword, and he was like inside the dinosaur's stomach, but that's just graphics.
That's going to happen a lot, just so you know.
I can't stand it, but I think it's going to be a stud still.
Tyler, stud or dud?
I think it's going to be a stud just because the following's so big. I probably will never ever touch that game. I watched it. I got bored like super fast, but I think it's just going to be a big hit just because the following of Monster Hunter is already so big. I mean, it looks cool. It's just not a game for me.
We'll pass on me. We got to keep the show rolling. I don't have an opinion on it.
Nobody cares about your opinion anyway, so.
Cool. Before we take a break, how high do you think you got on that dunk?
Probably 12 feet.
Did you see that video of him taking a
2 inches
dunk?
off the ground.
Crazy.
I could have touched the sky if the ceiling wasn't here.
What'd you say?
So I could have touched the sky if the ceiling wasn't here.
The sky is the roof.
This one broke it before he left. He knocked off all the springs going around. We now have to order metal springs to go around to keep it attached to the pole.
Oh, otherwise I would have hung on it.
That's the bull. You get the horns, baby.
All right, moving on. So up next we got Samuel Chase, the president of the Saratoga Comic Con, coming on. We're going to talk to him about the Comic Con and WWE. We'll be right back. And we're back to the Behind the Counter podcast presented by Insane Games. Make sure to give us your feedback, comments, and thoughts. You can subscribe to us at Behind the Counter on YouTube, or like us on Facebook at Insane Games NY and Insane Games FL, and also coming soon to Twitch. Something that we started back in November was we went to our first Comic-Con in this area, the Saratoga Comic Con. It was a last-minute thing we got into, and actually Dave and I were the ones that went. And I thought David was pretty.
Actually, let me go get my hat that I wore during the convention. Too.
It was. We went there. Now we knew nothing about something that we really didn't know about, and we knew Comic Cons were there, but not really something we actually looked at going to. And we went to actually saw the sign on the road for it. We went, had a spot opened up. He wore this stupid thing the entire event. I had people looking at him, then looking at me, then looking back at him, and I don't know if people knew what it was, didn't know what it was. But either way, we had a great. Dave and I had a great time. We actually saw a lot of people that shop here at the store that were there, and a lot of people with the role-playing, cosplay, everything. It was the amount of people walking by and the detail and time that they put in to, I don't want to call them costume, but they're role-playing and the cosplays.
Some of the people that did do the role-playing, some of the people that did just have costumes, be it the handmade ones, the store-bought ones. The one girl who was being Mr. Meeseeks from Rick and Morty, and there was a guy walking around as Jerry, and he was just making sure that he was never in the same room with the girl. It was awesome.
Right. It was pretty fun. And then actually a couple weeks after that, Tyler and I had the pleasure of going down to the Ace Comic Con in Long Island, and where Tyler met Gail got out in the back.
I met Gail Godot first off, and she's my future wife, so chill out.
Did see Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill was there.
They're still open, Gal. They're still open.
Henry Cavill was there. I was able to pass him going down the back hallway. I may or may not set myself up to be there on purpose.
Good. I'm not the only one, because again, what he means by that is they were breathing very heavily, pressed against the wall, going.
I knew he was going to be walking by, so I said, you know what? But I was able to walk right in and stop. And no one asked me to move, and he walked right by me. But I didn't ask for an autograph.
Did you
and
show him?
He had a posse with him. So we just, either way, I met him as I'm walking by me. So on the subject of Comic Cons, we have Samuel Chase.
Yeah.
Sam, thanks for stopping by.
Not a problem.
He's president of the Saratoga Comic Con. 2 events, one in April and then one in November, right?
Correct. This year.
November. And then Sam also runs the Comic Con in Plattsburgh, which is in August.
Correct.
Nice.
So Insane Games, we're going to be there in April and in November, both shows. We're
How
excited.
many booths do we got?
What's that?
How many booths we got?
2 times 2. So we're going to be in 2 locations. We're excited. I don't know how we'll have it set up yet, but probably we'll probably have games at one, and then all of our the geek stuff.
Double
the other
booth.
one.
Just because it came out of my house doesn't mean it's geek stuff, okay?
Honestly, you're the first double booth we've ever had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We're excited.
Your sponsorship was a bit different, and we worked it out that way.
We're going to be on as a sponsor for the event. Looking forward to it. And how many years have you been doing it?
Oh, this will be a third.
Third?
3's the charm. Yeah.
And you've been doing 2 every year since you started?
Yep. We started out, the first show was a 1-day event, and
Right.
then the second show in that same year was a 2-day event, which was a big step. It hadn't been done in the area. So
Now, you get a lot of people from all over. I mean,
All over.
Albany, Saratoga.
Yeah, mostly local.
Right.
But we do get people that have driven, 8 hours to see the show. Yeah.
And we saw a lot of our customers from the store. I was actually very surprised. Now, this is something we never went to before. We went there. The amount of people that went through this event, and we were, like I said, we were last minute. We quick got in. We just brought some stuff we had extra in the store. We did fantastic there.
It was like 2 days before the show. It
was
like Thursday.
We literally got
finally
everything
got
together.
that 100% confirmation. I was like, all right, good. 'cause
And it was great. I thought we had a...
I liked 2-day notice. It was fun.
So what are some of the special events that go on during the event? The Comic-Con itself.
Like a lot of panels,
Right.
And there's like little mini events, like the Mandalorian Mercs had this thing where they raise money for Little Warriors International,
Yep.
and they'll arrest. You can get all your friends arrested and
Right.
stuff.
Oh, really?
And so like you write down $10, you give them $10, it goes towards a charity, and you have your friend arrested.
Can I pay to have him fly down to Florida to get this one arrested?
I don't know, probably that guy.
You can try and cuff me, boy.
But then in order to get out of it, you either have to pay that exact amount they paid, and then you get arrested, or it's something like, or actually I think you have to pay double or something
That
like
does
that,
well.
and then
I'll
you
give
get
you
your
that.
friend arrested, I think, yeah. think that's how
That's
that works.
interesting. I didn't know that you could do that. That's
$10,000 bounty on Dan.
But you have to pay that. You have to give it to him to do it, though. So you can't just go around.
Bounty gate.
No, not 10,000. I'm not paying that back.
It's almost like
He'll double it. We don't have to pay.
So we have other events like
Right.
I mean, it's not so much an event as much as like an experience.
Right,
I
yeah.
mean, more of an event during the show would be like maybe a panel or something
Yep.
like that that's going on, like the cosplay competition, which is adults Saturday, kids are on Sunday. And this year, for our third year, we have something very special. We not only have the Best in Show trophy, and everybody else gets certificates, but we also have the Ultimate Cosplay trophy.
Right.
It's a big 3-foot tall trophy for the third year, and it's going to be awesome. No one's ever done it before,
Right.
so we're
No,
going
that
to be the
sounds
first.
great.
Fire up your sewing machines.
Yeah,
Now,
we're
when
going to
you
have to
say-
for this one. It's the Ultimate Cosplay trophy. That's what we're calling it. So.
Now, probably because I've never really go to that many, but when you say panel, what explain that? When you say panel, is that
Okay,
explain it.
so like all the panels are upstairs,
Right.
and basically when you go on upstairs, they're all different times. It's usually from like 11 to closing.
Yep.
There's all different ones on the hour.
Right.
So, and that's both Saturday and Sunday. So, so besides like the cosplay competition is going to be one of them, and then you're going to have things like we have guest stars like Jason Mewes from Clerks. He'll have his own panel. The other guest stars from Clerks will have their panel, and then you're going to have like sometimes we do a wrestling panel, not at this show, but we do like cosplay karaoke. Like that's more of an event, like an event panel, you know.
Yep.
So that's all upstairs.
So, a lot of times with the Comic Cons, celebrities or guests are a big point
Right.
to the event. So, who do you have coming to this one?
Well, we have, I guess we can start off with the wrestling guest star, Tito Santana. He was the first one
Whoa.
signed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back away, but he's pretty well known.
Yeah, pretty
in the wrestling.
Yeah,
He fought in the first singles match in WrestleMania.
he's a legend, definitely.
How'd you get him there?
He's from New York City, so it's like my friend knows him, and my friend ended up just asking if he'd do it, and we signed him and
Right.
did the behind the scenes
pretty
deal
cool.
with the
Good.
contract. And,
Who else you got coming?
we have Chad Rook from The Flash. He was the first bad guy.
The Flash.
And he's from several other things. There's a big hit show coming out called Siren, and it actually looks really good. I've seen the trailer for it.
Yeah.
And that'll be out. So even though, and I would like to make a side note, some people have asked, why do we have smaller celebrities at times? It's because sometimes these smaller celebrities go and get bigger. And we'll
Right.
talk about wrestling just for 1 second. Now, in the 90s, I think it was 99 or something, or 98, can't remember, the Hardys were at Aviation Mall.
Yep.
But I said to myself, who are the Hardys? Who cares?
Right.
Because they weren't really anybody at the time.
They were
now,
jobbers.
I mean, yeah, I know now. Geez, that was the dumbest mistake ever. So you never know when someone's going to get bigger and
They're
bigger.
right on the brink of being pushed heavily right then.
Right, and you were talking about Jim. I can't ever pronounce his last name. Cavill, Superman. There.
Oh, Henry Cavill?
Yeah, Henry. Right. Well, Henry's first movie, I think, was The Count of Monte Cristo when he was a kid.
Yep.
You would never think on getting this kid's autograph.
Yeah.
But now you should have, because now it's worth $150. So, I mean, that's that.
Speaking of that, there was one time that happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing football in New Jersey, and I had the opportunity to meet Lawrence Taylor. And my dad goes, "Hey, you want to meet Lawrence Taylor?" And I'm like, "Who's Lawrence Taylor?" And he's like, "I don't know,
Who?
Hall of Famer." He's like one of the best linebackers ever. And I'm like, nah. So I stayed home and played Madden instead all day.
Both of you deserve an open palm slap to the jaw. You could have met
I didn't know who he
LT.
was.
Wow.
I played for the Little Giants too.
So, I mean, those are some of the reasons why. But, I mean, things with like A-listers and B-listers, C-listers, we really don't say that because what is Tito Santana? He's not a John Cena, but he ranks over John Cena in a Legends. He's a completely different category,
Yep.
But, I mean, that's kind of like why we don't do that. So, like, we've had Rochelle Davis from The Crow at our show. Now, is she an A-lister? No. But Rochelle Davis is also the main actress in The Crow, which is one of the world's largest cult films ever.
Yep.
So,
Right.
I mean, to rank people and stuff like that, it's pretty much just like we try and grab people from genres that have done things that you'd want to come see. And for like this year, we have the Clerks reunion, so we'll talk about that, I guess, right now. So we have Scott Schiaffo. Everyone knows he was actually at our a couple shows ago, and we have Marilyn Gigliotti, I believe is the way you pronounce her name. So she was Dante's girlfriend, because everybody knows we had, Brian O'Halloran, who plays Dante, last spring. So he was here. And our biggest guest star of this year is Jason Mewes from Clerks.
Very nice.
That's a big one.
Yeah, so there's for your big guest stars, which everybody's been asking for, So the way that we did that is, like in the beginning, we started off with the smaller guest stars, because as the show grows, then our budget can grow. So we weren't actually allowed to get Jason Mewes at first, So then as it went on bigger and bigger, now we can, afford that and have that extra expense. So,
but doesn't smaller celebrities or local celebrities, don't those appeal more to the local?
They do.
That's what you're trying to get local people. I mean, people, for example, up here, normally the nearest Comic-Con is down in the city. Well, we don't. Not everyone likes to go to the city. We kind of like local. The smaller Comic-Cons or sometimes the bigger Comic-Cons.
Right. Yeah. They are. And they're better because, so we get over 5,000 people. We're looking at hopefully 6 at this one because it's our spring show in our 3rd year, and usually we grow in the spring every time. And the last show we grew 40% growth increase. So
nice.
Yeah, that was pretty phenomenal. So we're looking for a much bigger show this year, and with Jason Mewes, that's kind of celebrating our 3rd year as well as bringing in new people, and we're seeing how a big celebrity does at our show because we never tried this before. So, and we're always trying new things. I mean, that's why our guest stars are different usually at every show.
Yeah,
we're always trying to appease the fans, figure out what they want, and that's really important to us.
So if you don't mind me asking, we just 3 weeks ago now decided to wade into the not oversaturated market of podcasts at all. And just as you had to, start somewhere with making this convention and these ideas and pull this all together.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of viewers live and who are watching us now that they have aspirations. They want to do YouTube channels. They want to do these things. Do you have any advice for, and even necessarily conventions, but for start taking these grand ideas and not only making them successful as you have, but realizing them? You know what I mean?
Right. Well, you're always going to grow. That's always like your number one key. So don't feel that you're going to have all the answers in the beginning. When you have a good idea, start with that. But one thing I do suggest doing is perfecting it before you even release it. So when I did Comic-Con, I signed up on, I believe it was January 16th, 2014. The first show was April 25th, 2015. That gave me about a year and a quarter to grow my entire show, get it going, get all the vendors, let people know about it. And then when we had the show, the first show was pretty successful for a first-time show, especially that didn't have the name Comic-Con in it.
Right.
It was actually ChaseCon in the beginning, and that was the very first show. And then it became ChaseCon Expo, which was also the company, which is what runs all these things, so ChaseCon Expo LLC. And then now we just run the events like Saratoga Comic Con, Plattsburgh Comic Con.
Right.
So that's how that got switched over. But you see how that evolved.
Yeah.
It never, some things don't always stay the same. You have a good idea, kind of works out. But once we started throwing the Comic Con name in there for Saratoga Comic Con, man, that's when it blew up. That's when everybody started recognizing it a little bit more. So you have to find something that has a niche, that has, like, Insane Games has, the word games in it, so people are going to expect games are going to be there. And when we did Comic-Con, same thing.
Absolutely.
As for advice, just try and grow. Wow, that's some hard advice, especially for a YouTube channel. Get something that people want to talk about. That's one thing, and then
good content.
Yeah, and I know some people that have some great videos and they have like 10 views.
Right.
And it's like, how do you grow it? And that's where you have to look into Google AdWords and all that different stuff. It's all kind of complex.
Yeah, quick question off of Facebook. Any difference between the spring and the fall show?
There never used to be. Actually, every show would grow and grow and grow. And then the fall show wasn't this year it wasn't as big as the spring show. Yeah. But I don't really know what had caused that. I think it was people now need to get used to the later fall for us because the next fall show is November 17th and 18th.
If I'm not mistaken, the fall show, it was really, really cold.
It was.
If I'm not mistaken,
but it's
it was
November,
it was the
so-
first cold burst air that came in a while, and I remember saying, "Wow, it's really." Remember, it was cold. That the one we went. It was.
Well, every show is like the last April show. It rained, and I was freaking out because and then I realized that everybody shows up when it rains.
Right.
So never mind. I was like, okay, 40% growth increase. That's great. So
Tyler, any questions?
yeah, he's got food.
Any other cool vendors that are going to be there besides Insane Games?
Yeah, who are the,
No, it's just
who are
Insane
the
Games are going to be
headliners?
there.
Who's coming?
Basically like FYE,
Yep.
Cooper's Cave. Those guys are also your sponsors as well.
Yeah.
So
Very nice.
Yep.
Like
And-
Cooper's Cave goes with they do the cards. They do what they come with. They do they got video games. They got cards.
they have
comics.
pop figures, a lot of pops. Yep. And then there's, we have tons of stuff. So there's like artists there,
Right.
local, also ones that have done famous stuff, like Jim Lawson from Ninja Turtles, one of
Yep.
the co-creators. He's actually the one that's drawn more Ninja Turtles than anybody in the world, like something like over 15,000. So
Right.
that's pretty incredible that he'll be there. And then there's, there's things from like anywhere from like a beef jerky hut to face painting to anime vendors to we just signed up a Pokemon vendor this week, so he's gonna have a
Nice.
booth
Right.
not too far from you guys, but he'll be selling all just exclusive Pokemon imports from Japan. I mean, it's well worth it.
Right.
So yeah.
I will say, walking through it, I love walking through it because there's just a vast ton of different stuff that people are selling. Rather they make them themselves, or rather they're selling something else. It's great. I got one question for you. What is the weirdest thing or most unique thing you've ever seen someone selling at a Comic Con?
That's the better phrasing I was going to say.
Okay.
most unique. What was something that made you stop and go, "Wow, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before."
You mean like, wow, why did I sign them up? That's really the answer right there. Man, so, no, these people, they said they made leather and stuff, and I'm like, well, that's really great. And then so we had them there, and then we go there, and it's like, we can say anything on here, right? Okay, I think so, yeah. So it was basically like an S&M leather thing at my show, and there was like this razor blade outfit they had, and I was like, who would wear that? But that was a little bit different at my show. I think that was at the second show in the first year.
One of those you look at and go, okay.
Yeah, I've tried to actually get them
They're
back.
not getting participation next year.
I remember, excuse me, like I was at the first show. I was helping one of the local artists at their table.
I remember that, yeah.
First off, for the first show, like that was amazing when you were talking about
Thank you.
waiting and growing it
Yeah.
before you take the first jump. It really worked out. But like, I remember that there was like some leatherworking places there that would do like, like the leather bracers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So when someone else is
that
like,
guy's
oh,
there. Yeah, he's still there. He's been with me since like day one. But then there was like this S&M one, and I was
right,
like,
so I was saying like when someone else
okay.
comes in and they're like, oh, we do leather stuff. Like, oh, so it'd be like these guys. Yeah, that's cool. Oh,
And
that's
the
not
worst
what you
thing
meant.
is, I know the worst thing is it's all pop culture. So it's like, well, that means popular culture. It's like, okay, sure, and you don't really deny too many people. There've been a couple people I denied, but that was about it. So.
No, we're definitely looking forward to going. Excited
Again,
We're gonna be.
I know.
We'll be there, and hopefully all of us will be there.
And I would,
Sure.
if you don't mind me asking some questions.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
back to
absolutely.
you guys. So, as a vendor, can you tell anyone else that's watching or anybody else that's vended, like, what your experience was with the show? Because, see, from my standpoint, I'm the guy renting the tables and running the whole show.
Yeah.
So from the vendor's aspect is really what other vendors need to hear, because a lot of them can be afraid because they say, well, if I get one table, I don't know if I'm
can I
going to make
take this one?
I definitely don't know if I'm going to make any money.
Right.
And it's kind of like, yes, if you aren't making money with a group of pop culture people of 5,000, plus, then I don't. I mean, honestly, not to be rude, I just don't know what to tell you. Like, I mean, we bring in the audience, and you're going to be there. So from your guys' aspect, with your two tables from last show in the fall, what did you see? What did you think about that? Did you think it was worth your money?
I'm just talking in general. I didn't go to the Saratoga one, but
Okay.
I mean, to any vendor out there that's considering going to it, all I have to say is, do you like money? And if you do you like making money? We're talking about big ballers out here. In Saratoga, everybody's spending money. They're just throwing money at you. If you like making money, you need to go to the Saratoga Comic Con. You need to get not one, Like, two booms. You get 2 booms.
He can run your
That's all I
promo
have to
video
say.
for you.
He needs to.
But just
all I have to say.
to narrow it down to the Saratoga one, my feeling, because I mean, we went to Saratoga Comic Con, but then we also went to the Ace Comic Con,
Right.
Which they're
New York City,
they're
way
very
bigger.
different.
Yep.
They're very different between the two.
Yep.
And what I found to give to a vendor is more people are looking to buy at the Saratoga one. I don't think people
Thank
in
you.
this area, there's a need for it. Like,
Right.
people are hungry for the stuff at Comic-Con.
Because New
They're
York
hungry
City, you
for-
can get so much of it down there, and
There's
up
an
here
event
it's so
every weekend.
scarce.
Every
so.
corner there's a specialty
mean-
shop that sells the things that you're looking
Right.
for, or there's thousands of people, friends of mine personally, that live in the city, very talented artists and things like that, so you can get it. Not to say there's not as many up here in the Queensbury, the Saratoga, the Wilton, the Schuylerville areas, but few and far between, and also you have to go on 17 different workshop sites to find these people.
Saratoga Comic Con does a great job of bringing all those people together, so
Yes.
people know this is where I can go to
Right.
get stuff. Yeah.
Right, and people rely on that. You know, they're like,
Yeah,
I want my
yeah.
anime vendors, I want my
And
toy
it's a
collectors.
great venue too. I mean, you
Saratoga
stumble in
City Center is very
distance to
good.
Caroline Street as well.
Oh yeah, Gaffney. There's Gaffney's, the after party.
Exactly.
Everybody gets wasted at.
Yeah, there you go.
And then I show up Sunday morning, all the vendors are like, so,
But I feel like this area, I think the people that live here, the people that are in this genre, what they like, it's a hungry, people are looking, they're feeding for this type of stuff. Because because you go down to, there's a Comic-Con like every other weekend down in New York City. Those people...
in Florida, there's like 3 a weekend.
Right, it's familiar everywhere. And we have a few that are coming up down in Florida that we're going to. But up here, there's one. Saratoga Comic Con.
And we are the largest Comic-Con in the capital region.
Right.
There's some smaller shows, but we are the largest one.
Right.
So
No, I would say anyone who's looking at going, it's definitely worth, building some.
If you want to beat the man, you
base.
got to beat the man. You
That's
got to
right.
join Saratoga Comic Con. That's just it.
There was one big point that I did want to make that, I'm very into nerd culture, if you can't tell, and that stuff.
Dave.
For people who go to the conventions, for people who are thinking about, should I go to this? You should, because it's a group of your peers. It's all people who want to socialize, who want to be out there. If someone's wearing a costume for something you don't recognize, obviously don't run up and grab them, but when you catch eyes with them, say, I don't recognize, what's that from? Or, like, for example, when people come to my table, if Dan's giving them a third eye look because he doesn't know what they're from, and I would have to lean over and be
Doesn't
like,
happen a lot.
I'd have to be
Third eye
like,
look.
why don't you ask them what that thing's from? Because it's just a matter of, like, embrace the weird just for a weekend. And, you don't have to do it during your everyday life. You don't have to, buy whatever, but just have a little fun with it. Be out there, be outgoing, learn about the community, learn about the people that are out there in your community, because it's just that easy when someone's standing across the table from you looking at your wares to say, hey, is that Mr. Meeseeks? Or, like, what anime is that from? Or, oh, I love when Krillin gets cut in half on Dragon Ball Z. Like, you know what I mean? Like, poor Krillin
So, Dave,
getting so much shade.
When we were there, how many times did I stop and go, Dave, what is he supposed to be? And I had no idea what was going on.
If you came to our table and Dan successfully identified what you were dressed as, and it was not a video game related character, because I will give him that. He identified all the Marios, all the Luigis, all the Nintendo friends, but if you were wearing anything like that, this guy comes up, and I'm a huge Batman fan, and this guy comes up in this awesome penguin outfit. So I pretty much fall over myself over the table to ask this guy if I could take a picture with him, and Dan's like, oh, don't bother the guy, and I'm like, no, please. So he loved that. Charles Xavier came to visit our table. Dan had no idea who that is.
Hey, I'm an X-Men fan. Wow.
I'm lying. I'm making fun of him because he's a huge X-Men fan.
I
So
love
of course,
X-Men.
he
That's
knew
a whole other
Yeah.
subject.
He
Yeah,
knew-
Sam likes X-Men.
Yeah, I
He
do.
knew
Especially
Gambit,
the movies.
He knew
yeah.
he knew Charles Xavier, so of course he's like, Dave, that's Charles Xavier, and I'm like, he was to the left of me at the convention. That's why I'm looking off camera.
we're excited to be going. People can get their tickets at SaratogaComicCon.com. There's a link right on the left side. You hit tickets. Right on the top of that, there's a ticket menu to hit it. Saturday tickets are $20, Sunday are $15, or you can buy the 2 for 1 for $30.
Yep.
Which gets you in both days, Saturday and Sunday. We're excited to be there. We hope you guys come along. Sam, you stick around. We're going to talk about WWE in a minute. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Behind the Counter, presented by Insane Games. Just to note, all this week, stop by Insane Games to receive 40% trade bonuses on all your next-gen systems and retro systems. Insane Games is the home of all your retro and current video game needs. Stop by our locations in the Northway Plaza in Queensbury, New York, and down south.
And the wettest. It's the wettest, too.
Wet.
The wettest.
Say it, Mike.
Game store in
Wet.
the world. Wet.
And also stop down in the Insane Games down south in Clearwater, Florida, in the Countryside Mall to see this guy here. That brings us on to... Yes.
Make sure after you watch this episode, you hashtag Saratoga CC for all of you out there, and mention, you saw Sam on the Behind the Counter podcast, and we were wonderful, and he was wonderful, and everything was hunky-dory, and a good time was had by all.
Dave, it's not wonderful. It's glorious.
For him, you could put glorious.
So, something that we all, as you can tell here, and maybe over there, and my good rock chase pop over there, Xavier Woods over here, that we all kind of have a passion of Stone Cold, Break the Glass. Oh, Paul Heyman guy. I like that shirt. I didn't even see that. WWE is a somewhat of a pastime here for us, something that we all enjoy. We follow weekly.
Needless to
over
say,
the
we
years.
put a lot of money in Vince McMahon's savings.
Yeah, and time. Endless hours.
These two right here went to WrestleMania last year. Probably one of the best experiences I've been to in a long time. We went to the entire package. SmackDown, Raw, WrestleMania, the behind the autograph sessions, everything.
The Hardy Boys coming back was probably top 5 greatest moments of my life.
It was, and he's a big Jeff Hardy fan, or Matt Hardy. I hope both Hardys.
I can picture Tyler saying that to his kids, like, this is the 3rd greatest moment of my life, right behind my wedding and the Hardys' surprise return at Mania.
So
You could have Dan. I was screaming like a little girl.
we both were. I was right there with you. So we'll talk a little bit about WWE and maybe right now the current state of WWE, and maybe I'll start out here with looking at both SmackDown and Raw. I like the idea of the brand split where we have all the wrestlers on Raw and all the wrestlers on SmackDown. SmackDown right now, I don't think there's many problems with SmackDown. I think SmackDown is running pretty good. I think they had the title on the right guy. I
agree with that. I do agree with that.
I think it's taking up a lot of time, but I kind of like the Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan thing, whatever's going on there. I think it's starting to get a little too long. My problem is Raw. What? They have the story of Roman Reigns, who basically has 2 titles on his shoulder right now, the Universal title and the Intercontinental title. They have the title being held by Brock Lesnar, who's never there, who... By the way, when Brock Lesnar started, I thought it was a great idea. I thought putting him on the title was great. But now they have all these wrestlers that are coming up that are great. Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, The Miz. You're telling me none of them are deserving of a title?
And
they
don't make room for many people.
They don't make room, but they gave Finn the title, and he gave it back the next day, albeit for an injury. But he gave the title back.
They got the Balor Club. They have so many people on Raw. And what aggravates me is they decided to put the Intercontinental, I don't know why I can't say it all the time, the Intercontinental title on Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
What? Again? I mean, he's already holding the Universal title until WrestleMania, basically, and we can't find anyone else on Monday Night Raw to give the belt to?
The Miz had to give it up because he was doing movies.
Yeah, but there's so many other people.
They can't find another person. Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose,
Broken Arm,
Braun Strowman. I mean, look at all these guys.
That title would look so small on him. He would. In fact, I'm pretty sure he would just eat it. Like Braun would just be like, Braun, where's the Intercontinental title? What?
Tyler, what do you think of the current slate of WWE?
I agree with mostly what you say. Shockingly, I do like all the wrestlers that they have. I just wish that they would stop going backwards. They need to progress more. They need to, put titles and push guys that haven't been pushed yet that the fans want. It just seems like now in WWE they just want to push the guys they want. They don't want to push what the fans want. They want to do like the nostalgia type matches, which I don't have a problem with. It's just that when you have the talent and the slate of guys that they have, and they're not pushing them like they did back in the day, well, you're going to come to a time where you wasted all that time, and then you're not going to have like all these legend figures anymore because you were too busy pushing these old guys that are past due. I mean, to be honest, but I do think the matches are a little bit longer and they need to be cut down a lot. They need to build storylines a little bit better, but I just think I think it's good. It could be 10 times better, and it could be in the state that it was, where everybody talks about with the Attitude Era type matches, type storylines. They just need to get back to the roots.
Dave?
Are you one of those people who's saying the PG era, it's bad because we don't have table matches every other week?
John Cena era?
I'll say that.
No, I'm not
I mean,
saying
first
that.
of all, like, what's wrong with a table match? But forget the table match. It's just like, I don't need to hear a bunch of swearing and stuff. But geez, I mean,
Right.
can we at least like have blood? And now you're fining somebody like in real life for blood?
Yes.
Get out of here.
Well, that's the idea that Vince is pushing of sports entertainment. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
he's
that's-
begrudgingly watching Monday Night Football and going, I want to find the athletes.
Well, you're not allowed to say like wrestling there,
Yeah,
which
they're
is
not-
really
they're not
weird.
wrestlers, they're
because it's
superstars.
World Wrestling Entertainment, and
Yep.
you just can't say wrestling. And I find that very odd in a company. It'd be like me saying no comics at the show. Not allowed to have them or say it. But we're gonna call ourselves Comic Con. Like, does it make any sense? Come on.
It does. I actually, to be honest, my Mondays and Tuesdays are very busy. And they are very busy not being in front of my television. But I have the WWE Network, so I watch 205 Live and NXT, and I have a wonderful WWE package experience. Albeit not any time that would pop their ratings, but I'm watching it and I'm loving it.
For $9.99 a month.
What are you plugging them
Yeah, I
for?
know.
They're not giving us anything.
That's what they do all the time. Everyone's used to it now.
The one person
Dan's trying to
that's
get a job as Vince McMahon's assistant.
the one person that's now scrambling from their computer on YouTube going, oh my god, $9.99.
Actually, I think it's free for a month now, isn't it? Something
Yeah,
like
it
that?
is. Yeah.
It's free
like
for a month, and
Netflix.
It's free like every month.
Yeah, if you have a couple different emails, you can get a couple months free.
Wow, I have
what do you
3 of
think?
them. I can get 3 months a year.
What do you think of Raw and SmackDown?
I think Raw is too long.
I will not be asked that question.
As much as I love Brock Lesnar as a champion, and I believe him as what they've painted him to be, as that guy who walks down to the ring and 4 minutes later his music's playing and he's walking back up to the ring, not looking particularly all that pushed. But I think it is time that they put the belt on somebody who's there bi-monthly. Let's not get crazy and say weekly, because that's a bit of a commitment, but at least bi-monthly, someone that's on television, at least staring at them. I think on Raw they should definitely shift the paradigm. I wholly don't believe that Kane or Braun Strowman will be taking that belt from him before Mania. I believe that they've pushed Braun in the last couple weeks of Raw to the moon, and it looks really good, so that Brock can look even better when he beats both of them.
Right.
But I think Raw is a bit of a mess right now, and I think SmackDown needs to focus back up on the wrestling and less on Shane McMahon. And also, they need to definitively decide: is Daniel Bryan wrestling? Is he not wrestling?
Well, that's part of the
They need
game.
but it's part of the game. But they need to, they have now played that out. I also think they need to decide now: is he a heel or is he a face? Because this yup movement that he's supporting, yes, Shane McMahon's excuse my French, but a dick. But he's supposed to be, because he's a McMahon. I also work in daytime education, so I got to watch what I say personally.
I have to watch what I say.
I gotta be at least able to then like when someone looks at me in the daytime, be like, so you think Shane McMahon is a not very nice person? And I'm like, yeah, I don't at all. I think he's just a meathead. I think he's stealing kids' lunch money. He's taking quarters from the poor children. But I think that SmackDown of any of the shows should be 2 hours. I think Raw should go back to 2 hours and having a couple extra hour specials.
It's all about the money. That's why they do the third hour.
And Sam brought up a very good point about that, by the way. What was that?
Well, I mean, the whole thing is like I don't know what you're doing on Thursday nights, but there is another wrestling program which I do watch. I watch Impact Wrestling, and a lot of your WWE stars are on it, and a lot of your stars in WWE, and your biggest ones like AJ Styles came from this company. So with Impact Wrestling, and after about an hour and 20 minutes, it's not that it's boring. It's just I start to get tired because you're just watching. I mean, it's wrestling matches, so some of them are really good, and it's just like, okay, how much can I watch of this in a night? And I just can't imagine watching every single WWE program, especially ones that are 3 hours. I think they do need to go back to the 2 hours for Raw to make it better. I think they need to keep SmackDown at 2 hours. I mean, the good thing is about all of us being here, we all have our own opinions, and we have, we like different things as fans. So for me, I wouldn't care if they ended SmackDown. I know you like the double brands, but what I mean with that is SmackDown reminds me of WCW Thunder. I don't know why. It just does.
Well, they have way too many wrestlers to end one.
I know, and it's just like, for me, it's like, why? What was just wrong with just Raw? And maybe you could do a 3 hour Raw, but that be the only thing,
Right.
And NXT to me is really good, but it's comprised of like Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, and Japan wrestlers, and that's it. It's basically, that's where they were making fun of it with TNA NXT TNA, and they kept hashtagging it and making fun of it because it's the exact same program.
See, that's why I like NXT. I like the fact that
it's basically Impact Wrestling. It's basically nothing different, though.
I like how they have to prove themselves first before they go, we're going to make you prove yourself.
I don't think Bobby Roode should ever have to prove himself.
But I think
Bobby Roode needs to be in.
Bobby Roode needs to stop smiling so damn much. That's creepy.
I know because he has those small teeth. That's why. But it's the small teeth that get you. But I really wish that Bobby Roode was in Raw, and why he's not is the biggest joke. He has the biggest, and I think that's why Austin Aries left, and now he's in Impact.
They did put the title on him, so I think they're showing some faith in him.
Yeah. Well, now they have James Storm coming to WWE, whether it's Raw or SmackDown or NXT, but that'll be cool.
Mike.
He's coming over.
Now, Mike's not as big as a wrestling fan as us.
It too much, but from what I hear you guys say,
supposed to Google his stuff. Come on.
I hate Brock Lesnar.
You don't like it?
That's okay.
Whoa.
I'm actually with you on that. I'm with you on that because I can't stand his tattoo. That tattoo drives me nuts. It's like, what is that
Mike,
thing?
what do you think about The Rock?
The Rock? you don't
Watch it.
about The Rock.
Watch it.
You want to watch a grown man throw a hissy fit? You say something mean about The Rock today.
Say it, Mike.
He can't throw those accusations out on here.
Why not?
So, but
Him and Vin Diesel, Fast and Furious, it gets a little hot and steamy.
These are the worst movies.
as somebody who's not necessarily even into Raw, but you're into the idea of, just to say it, the entertainment, the pageantry of these things. A week, there is Raw, which is 3 hours on Monday. SmackDown is 2 hours on Tuesday. NXT is an hour on Wednesday. 205 Live is another hour that is posted a different day. Impact is 2 hours on Thursday. Mm-hmm. That is more than 10 hours of wrestling. And you're not even talking about...
And then two pay-per-views a month, or three.
Pay-per-views, specials that they might do, or anything else that they post on their networks. Like, what do you think about that as a non-fan? Or not a non-fan, but you know what I mean?
I would definitely say that's too much.
It's like, what is it, 3 pay-per-views from WWE a month, and then 2 to 3 from Impact a month? It's like,
what don't
who
you
wants
like
to
about
pay
it?
for this?
What's changed the question to Mike? What don't you like about WWE?
I guess the biggest thing I don't like is that it's fake.
Whoa! You can't.
Oh, wow.
Whoa!
Hold on.
Whoa!
Hold
I
on.
dare you. You know what? You know what? I dare you to go tell Tito Santana at Saratoga Comic Con.
Yeah. That's
don't
gonna,
say
that's
they're
gonna
not
be your
tough,
dare.
Mike, I think you need to leave right now.
I wouldn't say they're not.
Well,
He's
it's
gonna give you his
all
finisher right on
entertainment.
a table.
You know, it's definitely all entertainment. You know,
It's
and
definitely entertainment.
The
if you
thing
look at
is,
it like that, yeah, I mean, it is
but
entertaining.
falling on your back, even though the ring is a little
Yeah,
bit supported, man. I mean, that's the reason why these guys are like 45 and they're like can't walk.
Yeah.
You know.
Make fools.
Well, it's like a scripted television show
Yeah.
that is entirely performed by stuntmen instead of
Yeah.
So they're doing stunt
Which is
work for 2
fun.
hours straight, and it's live. But think of it as a television show that is stuntmen live.
I think we have someone else that doesn't like it over there too.
Yeah.
No, here's the thing.
No,
I don't care at all about WWE, but I see its value for that. It's
Right.
like, don't think of it like a
Sounds
live
you don't
sport.
like it.
Like, don't think of it like a live sport like football or anything like
Yeah,
that.
that's
Think of it
insane.
like scripted television.
You gotta look at
and
it
I'm fine
different.
with
It's
that.
not bad.
I'm
The
fine with
NFL is
existing.
rigged too, voter. So I mean,
Wild accusations, sir, unfounded. But the thing you wouldn't believe is, so WWE and Impact, New Japan, Ring of Honor, they're scripted. So they go into that pay-per-view and they say, you have X amount of time to have a match. This person's going to win. At the end of the night, we're going to have this big shot. Vegas betting odds still exist on this, and people. I mean, people will bet on. They'll bet on
weird.
how quick someone can eat a bagel down at a corner grocery, and they will. They'll put good money on it. But you should see the betting odds, especially on the next pay-per-view that's coming up, picking who's winning it and who the surprise entrants are. My God, the
My favorite
money.
my favorite pay-per-view of the year, the Royal Rumble. Great.
So Dan,
Not
who
that
do-
2014 one.
because we are we have gotten a little bit salty to each other about this. Who's your? Let's just say it this way. Who's going to win? And if you had one or two surprise picks, who? Who's winning?
Do you want me to answer who I want to win, or what I think WWE is going to do to insult the fans and make the winner?
Dealer's choice.
Answer is John Cena. I think they're going to have John Cena come in and
John
win
Cena?
and have him roll off somewhere out. They're just going to insult all the fans like they normally do by having a guy who shouldn't win. They should. Okay, relax, Dan. My winner for this season is going to be Finn Balor.
Ooh.
Even though I think they're doing something with the Balor Club, and maybe I know he's not a Vince McMahon fan, or Vince McMahon doesn't like him, but I think they got to get Finn Balor back going somewhere, and they got to put him back in the title hunt. And the way to do it is to have him. The way to make him in the title hunt, but not put him in the title hunt right now, is Finn Balor. But then again, I also think someone from SmackDown is going to win because they got Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar going one-on-one for the title already. So, I don't know.
Sam, who do you got? Who's winning? And Dan, do you have any surprise entrants that might appear? You can pass on it if you don't have any ideas.
I'm going to shoot out some Impact names. Bobby Lashley, I think, will be coming back.
And
And
there's a Royal Rumble.
I'm going to get
entrant?
his name wrong. Is it EC3?
Well, it's Ethan Carter the third.
Well,
Is his name, Impact.
I don't necessarily know
Dan,
about EC3.
do you think Bobby Lashley's going to be coming out with Donald Trump as his wingman?
That'd be great.
I'm going to throw out a Dan accusation, a big Dan comment.
Okay.
I'm predicting that at WrestleMania, Donald Trump will be there. I think with all their
Maybe.
connections, they're going to come up with something funny to bring Donald Trump to WrestleMania. I haven't heard anything about it, but I'm sure it's not too far off.
Fake
I was
news.
one of the proud people in New York, New Jersey, when Donald Trump was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Watch the Blu-ray because they say his name, he steps forward, and then they cut to the next person because that house booed that man. And just like we booed Chris Christie because it was fun, and by God, if you get a stadium full of people who all have the same opinion, we are loud. But, Sam, who's winning the Rumble? Are there any surprise entrants?
Hulk Hogan. No. Hulk Hogan's gonna win. He's still there, right?
I mean, he can book
That
himself
would totally
into a
be
win.
awesome. I hope AJ does something. I really do, because I'm still an AJ fan. You know, I met him. He's a great guy. short, actually. Really weird, because I'm short, and he's, like, shorter than me. So that was, like, weird, like, looking down at him. I'm like, wait, you look huge on TV. So that's always something funny when you meet wrestlers, is how small they are.
Yeah.
But he's in the title match, that pay-per-view.
I know, but I still want him to win. Like, that would...
He could.
He didn't poop on your pick. Don't poop on
no,
his.
he could
I'm
lose
just
the title
saying,
and come back and win
that's
it.
what I'm wondering is, like, you know, has that happened before where they've come back, right?
Well,
Roman
Roman
Reigns
last
tried
year
it.
was in the
Right.
was in the title hunt, and then
That's what I'm, like,
was
I'm
the
trying to
third
recall these
round.
memories.
Dean
so
Ambrose. They almost did that with Dean Ambrose. Remember,
Who
he
did
had
that?
the Intercontinental, said it right this time, the championship. He won the title, or he held on to it, and then he came back in the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
and
something
was with
like
Triple
that.
H.
So, like, that's what I'm
So
hoping.
he almost did it.
I'm really hoping Triple H is not a...
Yeah, we're not for Triple H.
I'm so tired of him. I don't know. Kevin Nash obviously won't be doing it because of what he announced for the Raw 25. He won't be there. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Really, I don't really have like a favorite pick there. Man, if there were any surprise entrances, like you said, let's go back to EC3. However, in real life, you know, Triple H told him he would never be anything, and then he became Impact's biggest star ever, besides AJ. So I don't really know, and he showed him off, and so let's hopefully, you know, it's the wrestling business. Hopefully they can shake hands, because EC3 would be somebody that would lead that company.
Yeah.
Something really great. He's amazing on the mic, or, you know, I don't know. I mean, I doubt the Hardys would probably have a chance, right? Would they send them out singly or no?
Probably. Matt Hardy,
If
anyway.
Jeff made a
If
return,
Jeff won the title, that would, I think, change the company.
They could
People
do
would
something
start
weird and have-
watching it a little more, you know, because Jeff is really, you have to pick people that do bring in the numbers. I think
Yeah.
people are sick of Cena, you know, and they always are, and I really think that if you were to give it to an underdog like Jeff Hardy, like when the Hardys came out for WrestleMania and won, that was like, because I'm like, oh, they're just going to lose, you know,
Right.
and it's just cool that they came out and they won. You know, I thought that was really great. So
Tyler, who you
definitely.
I don't have a winner. I do have a surprise. I think it's going to be Jeff Hardy's coming back. It's right around that time where his injury is going to be cleared. So I think he's going to come back. I might as well just say it. So I think Jeff Hardy's going to win it too, just because he's my favorite wrestler. So I think he's going to surprise us, come back and win it, and then it's going to be great. It's going to be huge.
Any surprises? Besides Jeff
I told
Hardy?
you my surprise, you idiot.
You think he's not? You think he a big surprise?
You want me to pull another surprise last in there? I just told you my one surprise.
Hey, what do you think?
I honestly think, oh God, who from SmackDown could win it that would matter? You know what? I'm gonna be really obtuse on this one. I think the modern day Maharaja is gonna win the Royal Rumble.
No,
And
that would drop ratings.
It would drop ratings. I would love to see people screaming on the internet, because I would love to see him in the main event of WrestleMania fighting AJ Styles in a match that he will inevitably lose. And I think some of the surprise entrants, I would always love to see a Tommy Dreamer come back. He actually, you know, I love to see him, and he wrestles actively. Would love to see. I mean, they can't do Jerry the King Lawler. He's on the do not touch list. I don't know. I'm an ECW guy, so I would love to see some of them.
Sabu.
Yeah.
Sabu, come back. Come on. Rob Van
He
Dam.
can't. He can't.
D.
He said he got a bad
Damn.
concussion on the Indies, and his vision is impaired, so he'll never wrestle in a WWE ring again. He is now persona non grata because he is injured. Because trust me, that would have been my first pick to both win and surprise it. Scott Hall could be in the surprise entrant. Jake the Snake Roberts. All the people that are doing the DDP yoga, I think DDP will also make an appearance, because he's doing really good things for WWE press, because he's keeping a lot of these guys off of the tabloids, out of bars, and in better shape than they usually are. Mike, I know you don't have a lot of wrestling information, but who do you think?
Shoot out a name.
The Rock.
Who do I think, or who do I want to win?
Who
Who do you
to
want
win?
to win?
I want John Cena to win. Just
Oh
so
my
Dan
You want
can
John Cena?
come into the store and be all like,
So you want no one to win the Royal Rumble. You want someone to get instantly fall out of the ring, and suddenly John Cena's music can play, and you're like, what happened? There's no one in
If
the
you
ring.
wanted to see someone return, who would you want to see return? That's not wrestling right now that you know of.
The Big Show.
Oh, God. Yeah, he's still kind of there, not there. No one really
He's
knows.
so big, no one could possibly throw him over the ropes.
That's a good pick, Mike. I'm proud of you.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick. I really think the surprises are going to be in the women's division. I think they got a lot of spots to fill. I think Ronda Rousey's a possibility, and they got
Oh, that's a definite. She's definitely.
I think you may see Trish Stratus, Lita. There's going to be some
Lita.
surprises in the women's division.
Lita was my first ever crush, I would have to say.
Oh, thank God.
Real quick.
I thought that was going to finish real
quick, so we're going to move along. Title picture. Who do you think's winning the Universal title?
I think Roman Reigns is going to once again...
No, for the Royal Rumble.
Oh, Brock.
Brock Lesnar, who you got?
I think maybe they'll hopefully be creative and not do Brock Lesnar.
It's Braun Strowman or Kane, then. Who do you
Not
got?
Kane is not going to win. So,
gonna
but
mirror
obviously Braun, I guess. Yeah.
I'm going with Braun Strowman. I think they're going to make that change. Who do you think?
I'm going with Braun Strowman.
AJ Styles, do you think he's keeping the title at Royal Rumble?
Who is he? Oh, he's in the handicap
He's in the
match.
handicap match.
Ooh.
I don't know. He
could
usually
go to the Royal
loses.
Rumble, then.
Doesn't he usually lose like most of his like
I mean, he
big
could
brawler
lose
matches?
and it sets up Kevin
didn't
Owens
impact.
and
I would love-
Sami Zayn thing, but
I would like to see Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn holding the title together and just tugging on it as they walk down to the ring.
so you think he's going to lose?
They're going to pull some shenanigans with Shane McMahon. So it's going to be AJ Styles is going to win, but I would like Sami Zayn.
Who do you think is going to
Kevin
win?
Owens.
You think AJ will keep the belt?
I'm hoping he does.
I think
I'm
he's going
still
to
an
keep the
AJ
belt.
fan.
Tyler, what do you think?
I also think he's going to win.
You think he's going to keep it? Perfect. Other
Yeah,
news?
someone's going to interfere and help AJ Styles out, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Roman Reigns, steroids. I'm not surprised. You
Houston?
surprised?
I didn't hear about it, so I'd like you guys to fill me in.
So-
He just
A
got,
gentleman-
a guy got arrested.
A guy got arrested for running a steroid ring.
Okay.
And,
In Florida, of course.
of course,
There's a
Thanks,
shot.
Florida.
and what ends up happening is when they get indicted, they say, do you have any names you can give us that might sweeten the pot for us to release, to lower your sentence?
Yeah, you're right.
And he named Mark Wahlberg, Roman Reigns, and another
Josh
performer,
Hamill.
Josh Hamill. So
I
three...
thought you said John Stamos. Like, why is
And
John Stamos taking
Stamos'
steroids?
hair.
Full House.
But they, all of them in Full House. But he named Roman Reigns and Mark Wahlberg and John Stamos or John Stamos' hair or whatever, and he picked such random names out of the air that it's almost plausible, but it's at a timeline where Roman may have already gotten suspended for this.
Where does Roman live?
Florida.
Florida,
Tampa.
Wow, then maybe.
Miami.
Yeah, I mean they would have to just basically give him a blood test.
I mean, and
Or
then
you can deny it.
he came right out and said, "I've been tested more than 11 times in the last couple months. I am not testing positive for steroids." I think that's just somebody who was.
Here's my hot take, Dave.
Yeah.
I just thought of this. Here's what I think happened. I think, Roman Reigns is from Florida, so what happened? He walked down the street in Miami, picked up some steroids, and he didn't take them.
He just
He
picked 'em
flew
up.
up all the way to Connecticut and gave his juiced boss a couple of injections right in the hiney. So I think it was really a job for Roman Reigns to get it and give it to Vince McMahon because, I mean, that guy,
Vince,
you know,
I want
he's
the title.
Vince,
Why?
You want the title, kids? Give me some steroids. Let's go.
That's definitely a hot take.
Why can I actually picture Roman Reigns going, what is this? Vince, bring that over here.
I cannot imagine him taking steroids because he just looks like normal, like a normal bodybuilder.
He has normal muscle mass. And then also, I mean, if you follow the man's social media feeds, which I don't, but WWE forces me to, because they're always sending pictures of that guy in the gym. So the numbers add up with the fact that he looks like a mammoth, and he's always looked like a mammoth. So
Yeah.
it's not like he was like this scrawny kid, like in Florida Championship Wrestling, going like, eh. And then he was got to the main roster and was like, oh, like Chris Masters or anything. But
Yeah, I know, Chris or Eli Drake or whoever.
oh
yeah.
God.
All right, we got to move on. Sam, I appreciate you coming on.
Hey, not a
I think we
problem.
had a great time. Remember, Saratoga Comic Con coming to the Saratoga City Center April 7th and 8th. You can get tickets at SaratogaComicCon.com. You can go right on the link on the left, click tickets. It's the center link that comes up. $20 on Saturday, $15 on Sunday, combined for $30 for both days. You can also visit hashtag Saratoga CC on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you follow them. Make sure you follow us on Behind the Counter on YouTube, and also Insane Games NY and Insane Games FL. Real quick, let's talk about football before we quick end. We got to quick roll it up. What do you think? You're not happy, and I'm not happy. So,
I don't know. I'm done with the football. If the Eagles win, I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl. I'm just going to sit home and drink a case of Miller Lights and drown my sorrows with what happened today in Foxborough. It was horrendous. My quarterback didn't show up. The defense was actually pretty bad in the second half, but I'm very salty. And if anybody wants to fight me on Facebook, I'm all for it. But I am not happy with the bald New England Patriots. And I think the NFL is a scam also. Brady just coming back all these times makes no sense to me. So I'm not all in on the NFL anymore. I am done with it.
With the Patriots winning today, do you think they're going to win Super Bowl or no?
I mean, most likely. It's just like, it's every single year, Patriots are in the talk. I mean, if the Patriots don't win this year, some miraculous thing's going to happen, like David Tyree catching the ball on his helmet or something like that. So I hate the Patriots. I don't like the fans either, so I hate everybody. I hate the whole world. I'm sad that the Jaguars lost.
And I have a feeling we're going to hear a well from this guy right over here.
Well. Can I just say, it was not just a victory, it was an ass whooping. Blake Bortles.
Whoa.
Where was he? Where's Blake Bortles at?
The sad thing is the Eagles are up 14-7 right now, so it's looking like Mike's going to take that bet.
Did Bortles rush for 100 yards, as we said? Like you were betting?
Yikes.
He's not looking anymore, but...
I have no comment. I'm on the verge of tears.
I felt bad for Blake Bortles, but I mean, just our predictions, it was hard to pick the Jaguars.
Who do you pick Eagles, right?
I went with my heart. I said, my brain knows the Patriots are going to win, but I don't care. My heart says the Jaguars are in it. So
now you know what it feels like to be a Bills fan.
I just stand Dave. I mean, the Raiders have been just as bad as the Bills.
Dave, any thoughts on tonight's game?
Who's surprised? Not this guy. But the Vikings pulling for you to be the first team to play at home at your own Super Bowl. Ticket sales for you would be monstrous. We could see Teddy Bridgewater sitting on the bench going, my back. And he's waiting to just take the keys for his team next year. But that's all I really got because, Mike's not going to win this year.
I'm the only one that said Patriots and Eagles, and I'm pretty sure St. Nick is going to be coming down the chimney.
Anything else?
St. Nick is as bald as they come.
Anything else on the NFL?
He's balder than Blake Bortles.
Right now, my only hope is the Vikings.
Locks.
You're old enough to be Blake Bortles' father. I think that's where he gets his hairline from.
My only hope is the Vikings move on and maybe somehow beat. I would love to see the Vikings in their own stadium for the Super Bowl. I think that would be pretty cool. That's the only hope.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
The only hope for a good story right now is that.
I'm going to pack a fat lip of Skull Peach and go with the Vikings on this one, too.
Well, next week, whoever wins tonight, next week we'll go through our NFL picks and really analyze before the Super Bowl because they have the off week. Who watches the Pro Bowl? Not many people. So we'll talk about that next week. Some more video game topics we're going to go over. I don't know. What else? Anything else?
Subscribe.
Before we forget, Boater, what's in your disc tray?
Dave had to make that up from last week.
Non-ball to Dave this time.
Puzzle Quest.
Sandy
Chance.
playing.
You balled it up.
Dead Nation.
Dead Nation. Sam's playing.
Oh, nice.
From like forever ago.
Mike, what are you playing? Overwatch, right?
Overwatch and a little Skyrim. It's way 10 years old, but
Dave,
I it.
Be careful.
7.
All right, that's respectable. What are you playing? Wolfenstein, right?
Well, I just finished Wolfenstein 2, and I'm going to go to the New Order now. Going backwards, just like Star Wars.
I haven't been around this week, so I haven't been playing anything. But I think I'm going to get Call of Duty. I think I'm going to finally seal the deal. And
Wow, would you look at here?
So you're saying that stupid vacant title since Ducey retired it might actually have a name on it?
That's the way it is. Maybe next week we'll talk a little bit about Call of Duty if
Long
I'm in a
live
good
Ducey
mood or a bad mood
Magnifico.
about it.
And how bad Dan is at it. Oh, come on.
Cool.
So, for all of us here at Insane Games, for Sam Chase at Saratoga Comic Con, we leave you in our usual fashion.